Hello everyone, you are watching Naresh IAS Academy YouTube channel. This is the next part on IAS Mains Exam General Studies question paper 2. As we have committed to cover the GS question paper and all the question papers of IAS Mains Exam within the 20 days, and we are absolutely committed with this, and you may contact for offline classes and you may join our answer writing session. What is the approach of UPSC? Definitely this is our effort to provide a concrete information about the exams so that you can clear the exam. UPSC specifically mentions the approach, you must follow this. Now our topic is formation of the Indian Constitution. Formation of Indian Constitution in 2 years, 11 months or 18 days. Okay. So here I will discuss mainly the two aspects. One is why the Constituent Assembly took too much time, around the 3 years, for the drafting of our constitution. However, we have already Act of 1935. This is the questions of IAS Mains Exam. Second, in what extent we can say Indian Constitution is a borrowing backs. Act of 1935 and the borrowing backs. One is, it is generally called British government made Government of India Act 1935, and finally it became basis for Indian Constitution. When the Constituent Assembly was drafting our constitution, the act was available before the assembly. So it was not too difficult task to form the constitution. They easily can form the constitution within 3 or 4 months, but they did take around the 3 years. So it is questionable why the Constitutional Assembly did too much time. So now we have to answer this question. 70% provisions of Indian Constitution are based upon the 1935 Act. But the 1935 Act, which was passed by British Parliament, and the Act didn't have any kinds of preamble, but our constitution makers wants to preamble of the constitution. This was the one difference, that's why the Act was not directly adopted. Second, amendment in the Act of 1935 only could be done by the British Parliament, and this was not given right to the Indian Union or the state legislature, but our constitution makers want to amend the constitution by the Indian Parliament or central legislature. Third is the position of Governor General and provincial governors and the different provisions, they were the part of the act, but our Constituent Assembly want to alter these provisions according to the Indian circumstances. For example, the office of Governor General was replaced by the President of India, and we adopted the parliamentary system from the Britain or UK, United Kingdom. but in Britain, British monarch or queen was the integral part of the parliament, but our constitution maker did not want to make the crown or queens as a part of parliament. So, we have altered these features and added the Indian president, and Indian president became the integral part of the our parliament. So, this was the change, not directly adoption of the features. Second, the parliamentary supremacy, which was the features of Britain or UK, but we have established the balance between the legislature, executive and the judiciary. So, we have studied the different constitution of the world. Next is the election system. 1935 Act provides only the limited or communal reservation, limited electoral system or communal reservation, but it was not adopted our constitution maker. They want to uniform adult franchise, so it was also modified. And what kind of alteration modification were done by the Constituent Assembly? So, it became the time taking process. So, that is why we are proving this, why they did take 2 years, 11 months or 18 days. Just like other provisions, position of Supreme Court. Under the Act, the decisions of Federal Court or Supreme Court could be challenged in the Privy Councils of England, but this was not accepted by the Indian constitution makers, and they established Supreme Court as the apex body of the supervisions of the law or constitution, and the different positions of supreme powers and positions of Supreme Courts were adjusted according to the Supreme Court of the America. And the Act did not provide any kinds of fundamental to the Indian citizens, fundamental right to the Indian citizen, but we were very committed to acquire the fundamental rights. So, we studied or adopted the Constitution of America, where we have adopted the fundamental right. Same, there was no provisions of directive principle of state policy in this Act, and we have studied the Irish constitution, and we have taken the DPSP from the Ireland, and the nomination of 12 members or electoral college of the Indian president, these all features we have taken from the Ireland. So many features we have taken from the different constitution. That is why we cannot say just the Act was available, so we should immediately drafted the Indian constitution within 3 or 4 months or last in the 6 months. It did take too much time, because the Act provides features only to fulfill the British interest. This was the British mind or intention, how to enlarge their dominance over the India and how to maintain India as their colony for a long. But our constitution maker determined documents which provides a complete autonomy, liberty or sovereignty to the India or the Indian peoples. That is why it was taken too much time. Okay. And the second aspect is borrowing backs. Some scholars have claimed or argued that time the Constituent Assembly studied around 50 constitution or the political system, governing system of the different countries. So, generally it is said Indian constitution is feature basically based upon the foreign constitution or the external factors, and generally it is called the borrowing backs. Then here I want to say only the 30% features we have adopted from the different constitutions. The first, because it has been asked as a question form, so when we have to deliver our answer, definitely we have accepted this in the paragraph 1. So these are some features we have adopted from USA, USSR, United Kingdom, France and the Germany, South Africa, Australia, Ireland. So many features we have accepted, definitely these features have deep impact over the Indian constitution. So it simply realize just like a borrowing bags. But change the second paragraph. Now we have to ascertain that the above mentioned features are only the 30% of the total volume of the Indian constitution. Remaining 70% features, these are the reflection of Indian socio-economic and the political circumstances. And now you have to prove this. For example, we have adopted the parliamentary system from the UK or Britain, but so many features in parliamentary system are the indigenous and they have their origin or the source in the Indian circumstances, just like a 0 hour. So then 0 hour is a part of the question hour session in Indian parliament, and 0 hour is not a part of British parliamentary system, it is a Indian invention. Same, the motion of confidence, which is introduced by the Prime Minister and his government to ensure and to reflect the majority in the house, and it is an Indian invention. Provisions of panchayats, organization of panchayat and municipalities, provisions regarding the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and the official language and the emergency provisions. So these are the Indian circumstances, and the concept of socialism, secularism and combination of republican system and democracy, this is not a any external factors. So definitely our constitution maker did the too much time, because they were trying to placing all the democratic or political features of Indian nations. India has a long past and it has a glorious cultural values, and could these values or features be placed in the preamble or any part of the constitution? Yes, definitely they did so. So that is why we have to deny this. Indian constitution is not a borrowing bags. However, so many features we have adopted from the various constitution, and these are as follows. But we have adopted so many other features from the Indian circumstances, and there are some new features are not the part of any constitution of the world, and these are the two aspects from where UPSC have asked questions. And now I hope you are able to answer these questions, and in future the UPSC may expect different kinds of questions from this way. So you must be mentally ready for this. Okay, thank you.